Wow, here we are in the glorious pouring rain. I was driving along and I kept seeing these flashing lights up in the distance, and I couldn't hear any thunder. Oh, there goes one now. Normally when you get lightning, you get thunder, and the number of seconds between the thunder and the lightning is the number of miles away that the storm is, apparently. But I kept, oh man, I thought it was UFOs or something. I was seeing the flashes, I wasn't hearing any thunder, and then all of a sudden, storm. Sorry, PSV Eindhoven is asking, where's the storm? The storm is in London. I'm just outside the M20, just inside the M25. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Abu Nice. Yeah, the heavens have just suddenly opened, and I'm risking damaging my phone to enjoy the storm. I'm also risking being struck by lightning, I suppose. But there is something beautiful about a storm, something beautiful about that release after the build-up, the humidity. All day it's been roasting hot, and finally the heavens have opened, and they're drowning my phone. I better jump back in the car. Stay with me. What side of London? We're in the west. There is a tropical storm in the far west end of London, and we're back in the car, and you can probably hear the rain pitter-pattering on the roof. But yeah, there's something magical about a storm. PSV Eindhoven is saying in Holland it's 34 today. Tomorrow it's 38 degrees C. Wow, that must be climate change for you. Wee Man is in Wembley. Wee Man, can you hear the thunder or lightning from Wembley? I must be about 15 miles from you. It's just broken. I'm reminded very much of the moment Rumble in the Jungle ended after Muhammad Ali defeated George Foreman, and the heavens opened and the rain poured down. Magic moment. Yeah, the rain's died down. Some of my best childhood memories are from camping trips to France, where when I was very young, and these storms would break, and we would run out in the rain. And one night, the storm, there goes lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 seconds, and I believe you divide it by 3. I think that means the storm is 2 miles away. And we'll find out in a minute if it's nearer or further away in Wembley. But yeah, one bit of sound effect. One time on the thunder, you mean? No sign of it up in Wembley. Okay, we're homing in on it. There goes the police. Yeah, one time on a camp, we lost the tent overnight. The tent blew away, and we hid in the camper van. And the next morning we were finding bits and pieces. Like the bin was like 2 miles away. The tent was shredded in pieces, and the whole place was flooded. And we were just sort of paddling about in it. Nature is incredible, very humbling. No thunder. It's getting further away. Air definitely cooler. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can hear it in the distance. There's another flash. Whoa. There was some fork lightning. 2 kinds of lightning, aren't there? Fork and sheet lightning. And they say lightning never strikes twice. Worst thing you can do in the storm is go out with a metal umbrella, because that is going to be like a magnet for the old fork lightning. It will strike down and electrocute you, apparently. But I think your you're safe in a car because the rubber from the wheels will earth the shock or something, apparently. I don't know. It was so strange earlier on that the lightning was so bright and so visible, but I couldn't hear it. So I couldn't hear the thunder. So I didn't think it was lightning at all. I thought I was witnessing a UFO attack. I thought Project Bluebeam had finally happened. Yeah, Wee Man is saying it's the safest place, apparently. Yeah, I'm in the safest place to be. I'm in the car. Yeah, fork lightning, sheet lightning, and oh, there's a beautiful one. Very occasionally, there is a phenomenon called ball lightning, where the lightning forms some kind of spherical bunch of energy. PSV Eindhoven is asking, have you ever seen the thunder hit the sea? I presume he means lightning. There was a refugee boat struck on the sea not so long ago, right? I'm sure you're right, and gosh, it's hard to be a refugee anywhere, but being a refugee in the sea during a storm, that's got to be rough. Wow. I'm going to try to angle this camera so you might see what's going on behind me. Let's open the window. I'm in the safest place to be, but I don't know how safe we are if the window's open. Can the lightning get in through the window? Come on, nature. Put on a show for us. I'm going to turn the light off briefly. You don't really need to see me, but you might. Yeah, there you go. Well, look at that. Amazing. Beautiful. Thunder. And yeah, PSV Eindhoven is correcting himself. Lightning. You see the lightning, you hear the thunder. And I know, yeah, there's some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, maybe it's coming closer again. I know Thor was the Nordic god of war, and I'm guessing that's where thunder comes from, right? Thor, thunder, and of course Thursday. But and what day is it? Are we into Thursday? No, it's Wednesday. Getting ahead of myself. Wee Man is saying, damn, that's cool. Yes, it is. Where are you, Wee Man? What, are you in the UK? Are you witnessing this weather? I'm kind of disappointed it's not a UFO. Wee Man is saying, gonna sit and wait on my balcony, see if it comes past. You're lucky to have a balcony, Wee Man. Balcony, of course, is an Arabic word which I learned the etymology of recently. Balkon is the globe or the world. So balkon is by the world, or where you're able to see the world. I hope you're smiling down on the world from wherever your balcony is, Wee Man, wherever abouts you are in Wembley. Someone is mentioning, this storm just knocked out our power. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, nature is powerful, man. It's a humbling reminder of how insignificant we are, really. We are at the mercy of nature. And Wee Man saying, starting to see a few flashes. Good stuff. PSV Eindhoven. In Holland, we say literally Thunder Day. Okay, so Thursday is Thunder Day. I did a little bit of German. I'm wondering, is it saying Montag, Dienstag, Mittwoch? Donnerstag. Donnerstag is Thursday in German, but I don't know if Donner is thunder also. Okay, so Donderdag in Dutch and Donnerstag in German. They're both Germanic languages, aren't they? I love my etymology. I love learning words and the meaning of words, and sometimes I go a bit too deep and I start looking for meaning that's not actually there. But whoa, look at that one. That lit me up. I think that lorry over there might be Dutch. Jan de Rock Logistics. Are they a Dutch company? Maybe you can let me know. Yeah. And Weeman was in the Netherlands last week. Brilliant. I'll be very near the Netherlands, God willing, in October. I'm heading to an event in Nordhorn in Germany, but I'll hopefully cross the border into the Netherlands for the first time in my life this October. Well, the rain has stopped. The thunder and lightning is continuing. PSV Eindhoven is saying, "Wee man, you was 1 week too early, mate. It's beautiful weather this week." Yeah, Europe, a lot of Europe is having beautiful weather. But this storm is going to clear the air a little bit. Will be much less humid, hopefully. That's when heat becomes unbearable, is when it's humid. Temperature is not so much of a problem, it's the humidity. Because if there's too much water vapor in the air, which is what humidity is, your sweat evaporating is what cools us down, and that can't happen if it's too humid. So yeah, we'll be a bit more relaxed tomorrow. Clear the air. And for those of us in the UK, we'll have a new Prime Minister. Although not yet. Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister designate, apparently, but I don't know when he takes over officially. Does it matter? Does it make a difference? I think I've decided to give up politics upon the advice of a friend. I used to think I was a really sort of deep thinker because I'm all up to date with current affairs and I follow politics like it's a soap opera. Well, but politics is just as superficial as EastEnders or Neighbours, I think, to be honest. It's all the same. Whoever you vote for, the government gets in. Although part of me still wants to believe in the politics that I was brought up with, and I do believe in the values of socialism, but partisan politics is such a state these days. It's all divide and conquer, and I think the minute you label yourself, people will already start attacking the label, and they will have decided what you think before you even let them know. So I might be a bit more guarded in future with how I describe myself. I am a this, I am a that. People just want to put a label on you, man. Asim Rashid is saying, like your channel, you are a true gentleman with good heart. Salam to you from Pathan. I take it you're a Pathan from either Pakistan or Afghanistan. Thank you, Asim Rashid. May you be rightly guided, as your name suggests. PSV Eindhoven is saying, just saw the Modine live stream. The guy's really entertaining. Yeah, I think Modine is very entertaining. I think that's what he is, an entertainer. He does it very well. Wee Man is saying, I drive over quite a bit for work. This is somebody who visits Holland. I'd like to visit Holland. I've got one friend in Holland, in Amsterdam, who I've never met, but we've been in touch for a long time. Maybe we'll make that happen. Shall I put the light back on? Are we enjoying? Oh, there you go. Are we enjoying the light show in the background, or do you want to see my ugly face? Good guy Mo Dean, yes, I think he is. And I hope he's okay. I heard he got into a altercation. Wee Man is saying that the storm has now made its way to Wembley, or as Paul Chowdhury calls it, Wembley. All right, the storm is heading north. Steve-O is saying, hey Julian, you live? Yes, Steve-O, I'm live. Live from the storm. Your man live on the scene. Just to prove I am live, here I am. Welcome, Steve-O. Steve-O, where are you messaging from? I'm next to the M25, about to head west, and I just pulled over because I got caught in a tropical storm. I never found out where Steve-O is from. Your name suggests a Slavic origin. Would I be correct in saying that? Jason Mitchell is saying, could you beat Conor McGregor in a fight? Definitely could, if you put him in a straitjacket first of all and tied him down. PSV Eindhoven is saying, I also saw your interview with the Braden guy. You kept really calm. Yes, I did, and you got to keep calm. The more serious it gets, the calmer you get. A good friend once told me. I'm generally a calm person. I think whatever you do, it's important to do it deliberately and not react emotionally, and certainly not react with anger. And Steve-O is saying appropriately, vaguely, that he's from the Balkans. Yes, the Balkans, I would have thought so. Glad to have people from the Balkans. Sorry about that, we just lost connection briefly, but we're live again. Jason Mitchell is asking me, do you believe that all North Africans are Berbers? This is obviously a question relating to my interview or my conversations with Andy, the Algerian. Do I believe that all North Africans are Berbers? No, I don't. I mean, are we including Egyptians? There's not many Berbers in Egypt. But what I guess you're hinting at from that question, and the way I would answer it, is the majority of so-called Arabs in North Africa will have a lot of Berber heritage and DNA. Just as the Arabs in Syria and Palestine and Jordan will have a lot of Phoenician DNA and Aramean and possibly many, many other ethnic groups, Canaanites, Hebrews, Israelites. All these regions had different languages and ethnic groups prior to the spread of the Arabic language, and being an Arab means that you are a speaker of Arabic. Your racial origins could be many, many different things. Steve-O saying, thanks Julian, I like your channel. Thank you, Steve-O. I appreciate it. Goodfella is back, and Goodfella is saying, Julian, did you hear Braden escaped from a mental institution when he first came to London? He was homeless when he first came to London as an escapee. No, I didn't hear that, and I would ask, what's your evidence for that? Goodfella is saying, I heard he's currently of no fixed abode. I don't know enough about Braden. I've chatted with him a couple of times, and as fiery as the conversation seemed. He is respectful to me, I'm respectful to him, and I hope that we can chat again in the future, and I wish him well. Jason Mitchell is saying, can you speak any Irish at all? I know one or two. I can't really. No. Short answer, no. Long answer, I know a few words here and there, and there are probably many words that Irish people use daily, and many place names in Ireland, vast majority come from the Irish language. So I know that the Bale, I think, means town, as in Bale Ataclaith, Dublin. Bally is another, Ballymena, Ballyclare. All these place names that you see come up very commonly. I wish I did speak the Irish language. I believe my great-grandmother spoke it, but I'm not by any means a native speaker. PSV Eindhoven is saying, good fella. Okay, didn't know that. Yeah, talking about Braden. I wish Braden the best. I hope he's okay. And if the Speaker's Corner community can do anything to help one of their own, let's do it. We need to look after each other, whether we agree or disagree. People that go to Speaker's Corner presumably all believe in freedom of speech, and we should look out for one another. So yeah, it seems like the storm has got one more little flash. How's the storm up in Wembley? Is it still going strong? I'm just about old enough to remember the Great Storm. Well, there were 2 hurricanes in the late 80s in England, and Michael Fish famously said that some woman had phoned him up and warned him, or said she heard there would be a hurricane, and he said, don't worry, there isn't. And the next day, everything was blown away. So yeah, unpredictable. You never can tell. I believe the weather forecast generally predict the weather to be worse than it really will be. Because if they say it's going to be good weather, and then we get bad weather, more people complain. But if it's the other way around, and they say weather, no one's going to complain about that. So they tend to give a pessimistic prediction of the weather to come. I missed out on a school trip a couple of weeks back. We were meant to take some kids down to Bournemouth for the day out, but the sea was going to be too rough, apparently. So it didn't happen. Jason Mitchell is saying, I think I saw you say on a video you don't drink alcohol. Do you think it's dangerous to drink it? Can be. It can be. Almost anything can be dangerous if you do too much of it. And personally, it's not for me. But I'm sure there are people that can enjoy it moderately. But it's not good for you, is it? I don't drink. I don't smoke. I say I don't do drugs, but I drink coffee. That's got caffeine in it. Apparently, caffeine can be lethal. Apparently, a guy died recently from some lethal concoction of pre-workout drink that contained a crazy amount of caffeine. And the poor guy passed away. And the press portrayed it as man dies from drinking protein shake. But it was a concoction that he'd made himself with protein and he threw a lot of caffeine in there to try to wake himself up to go to the gym. So yeah, there's a lot of moral panics about protein shakes and the like, but I think you can take protein as a supplement, and it's one of the safest and most proven to be effective in terms of supplementing a diet. But it's not a magic wand. You've got to get the majority of your nutrition from good food, and you've got to hit the gym, and you've got to get enough sleep as well. Boss Khan is saying lightning in Birmingham right now. Well, I said it was heading north. We've gone from... sorry guys, we lost signal there. That's a coincidence. Wee Man asked me if I've tried any drugs, and all of a sudden we lost connection. Yeah, I've tried drugs when I was young and silly. I'm not interested in doing them now, apart from maybe the good old ayahuasca in South America. If you want a drug that can open your mind for a spiritual awakening, apparently ayahuasca is the one, or DMT as it's known. Bruno Gramolito is saying, bro, I'm scary. Are you really? I wonder, does he mean scared? Some people say they're scary when they mean scared. Bruno is saying that the lightning is in Northwood. Okay. Steve was asking Julian, what do you make of our new Prime Minister? And what's the chance of a general election? When it comes to politics, I always go to paddypower.com to find the odds, because the bookmakers know what they're talking about. Their money depends on it. And if they say something is likely to happen, it is likely to happen. And I think the chances of a general election in 2020 this year, 2019, are just about even money, and a slightly longer odds for next year, 2020, and then after that, it's a long shot. So very likely there'll be a general election this year or next year, and it's crazy to think about it, but we're well over halfway through the year. 2019 is flying by, but times fly when you're having fun, apparently. And my good friend George Galloway is going to stand for MP in West Brom, up in the Midlands, and he's going to try to oust Tom Watson, because he thinks Tom Watson has betrayed the people. So good luck, George Galloway. Steve-O saying, Julian, I love GG, saw him the other day. Where did you see him, Steve-O? Where did you see George Galloway? I was with him on Al Mayadeen, Kalimahora. You met him once. You'll have to meet him again. Maybe we will be all together. I see him quite regularly. He's a rare find. Jason Mitchell has asked a very good question. What's your favourite period in history? The future. Only joking. What is my favourite period in history? I had a good friend I used to see a lot of. Once watched a documentary about the Ottoman Empire, presented by Raghi Omar. And for the rest of that month, everything was about the Ottoman Empire. Oh, did you know in 17 blah blah blah, and the Ottoman Empire such and such happened. So yeah, the Ottoman Empire. No, I like a lot of the stuff that Michael Tazarian talks about. If you know who that is, he's an Irish historian who looks at sort of hidden history. So things like Atlantis and all the mythology that we don't really know what is the truth in it, and what is not. So not quite far back as prehistory, but hidden history. And the 20th century was pretty interesting, wasn't it? I mean, that's when I was born. And Steve-O met George Galloway in Camden. Yes, he was with Gertrude. Lovely couple. Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely. Bruno is asking me again, where am I? I'm still pulled up just past Feltham before you get to the M25. And the storm is over. The storm is over now. Does anyone remember that track by R. Kelly? A very special someone gave it to me once on a CD. The storm is over now. Beautiful. PSV Eindhoven. Sorry, I think the storm is playing with the connection. The question was, what time were the Mayans alive? I should know that because I was in South America last year in Peru at Machu Picchu, home of the Incas and the lost city of the Incas. And I think the Mayans predated the Incas. You've got the Mayans, the Incas, and the Aztecs. I think the Aztecs were further north, up in Mexico, and I think the Mayans predated the Incas. You'd have to consult the Mayan calendar, which of course a few years ago told us that we were all going to be wiped out. Wee Man is saying safe journey. Julian, I'm off to bed. A very good night to you, Wee Man. Up the stairs to bed he goes. And how did they become extinct? How did they get wiped out? I don't know. I remember watching the Mel Gibson directed film Apocalypto, where I think it's the Incas, or was it the Aztecs? I could be wrong. But these two tribes were sort of warring and trying to wipe each other out, as the name would suggest. Apocalypto, apocalypse, as in the end of the world, or the end of an age, an epoch. And at the very end, when one of the tribes has been victorious over the other and wiped them out, who should show up on the shores of South America in 1400 and whatever it was, but the white man. And of course, he wiped everybody out. And I had a very good conversation with a local guide in Peru, in Machu Picchu last year. It's on the channel. You should check out if you can go back about 12 months. I think I've got a playlist called Peru, and this local woman told us all about the history and the language, Quechua, the local language, which is still alive in pockets but not widely spoken anymore. I mean, this is the nature of capitalism and globalization. The original will have to give way to the new culture, and it will be found alive in pockets, in rural areas, up in the mountains, like in Morocco, where I met the Berber people. And that's why I think all North Africans are Berbers. Up in the mountains, you meet the people where the Berber language is still alive. Like in Ireland, the Gaeltacht, the areas where the Gaelic language is alive, are the remote areas. And if you look at Great Britain, you can see where the influx of Anglo-Saxons, who, those good old English people, they came from Saxony and northern Germany and Holland and Denmark, and they pushed the native inhabitants out into the western quarters of the country, up into Scotland, out into Wales and down into Cornwall. I'm not begrudging the English people for this. I mean, thousands of years later, if you're born here and you're English, I'm not suggesting you should have some kind of white guilt because your ancestors were Anglo-Saxons rather than native Britons like the Welsh and the Scottish and the Cornish. But I just think it's important to remember. And I think it was a colleague was saying this week, and when you just catch a little part of a conversation and you don't remember the context, but you remember the important point. Oh dear. You know what? I don't want to get a flat battery. That would be a nightmare. You just remember the important bit. And this woman said, "Oh, I don't really speak any foreign language apart from a bit of Welsh." And I was thinking to myself, no, Welsh is not a foreign language. Here in the British Isles, Welsh is a native language. It's English that is the foreign language. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Braden. I'm sure he wouldn't like to hear that. Yeah, English is a language that arrived from Northern Europe and displaced the native languages of Cornish and Celtic languages, the Goidelic and Brythonic Celtic languages. And I've heard there's areas in Argentina, I think Patagonia, where the Welsh language is alive and well, and Welsh speakers have returned to the UK from Argentina speaking only Welsh and been refused visas or refused citizenship on the grounds that they can't speak English, but they can speak a native language that was here on these islands prior to those foreign Anglo-Saxons. But we're going deep now. Steve-O saying Apocalypto, great movie. Yeah, I think it was. J777 says they were Mayans and they occupied Mexico. Okay, the Mayans were in Mexico. They played football with people's heads, yeah, probably. Jason Mitchell has got a question. Do you think professional bodybuilding is a real legit sport or just destroying your body with steroids? Look, one man's sport is another man's game or hobby or pastime. It is sad to see people damaging their bodies, especially with drugs. But what sport doesn't damage your body? What is the toll of years and years of boxing training and hard sparring and ending up with a nose like mine and God knows what else? Yeah. A jiu-jitsu coach said to me once, sport doesn't make you feel good, but we should look after our body so that we can enjoy the sport. Sport is for enjoyment. People think I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get really fit and healthy by doing sport. What keeps you well, the storm's back, are things like physio, things like yoga, things like meditation. This is what we need in order to maintain our body and our health and be well enough to enjoy the sport. So sport should be something you enjoy. It probably will take a toll on the body, and bodybuilding takes one hell of a toll on the body. And where do you draw the line? The classic look is returning to popularity in bodybuilding. And I think even the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger said it's a shame to see these bloated, puffed out stomachs from abuse of steroids. Bodybuilding, it should be about creating an aesthetically pleasing and impressive physique, and being grotesque and having muscle that is not actually practical I think is just a bit of a freak show. I mean, in terms of, I think some of the best bodies you find on athletes are the gymnasts. You look at some of the gymnasts on the rings and the parallel bars. They've got incredible physiques, and that's a physique that is functional, strength that you could actually use, rather than just, I suppose, using your strength to lie on your back and lift a weight once on the bench press is functional, but it's quite limited. I prefer an all-round athlete. J777 said, the Mayans were also a lost tribe of Israel, the tribe of Issachar to be exact. They were the only Israelite tribe able to build pyramids. Was anyone not the lost tribe of Israel? Come on, man. I've had the Hebrew Israelites in the park telling me that the black people are the lost tribe of Israel. The loyalists in the north of Ireland think they're the lost tribe of Israel. The Mormons think the Native Americans are the lost tribe of Israel. Israel think they're the lost tribe of Israel. I think everybody wants to be the lost tribe of Israel. John McDermott is mentioning that Jesus Christ is Lord, and he's put Lord in capital letters. So that must be true. Then he's put lol. Maybe he's just having a laugh. Stop making fun, John McDermott. Some people might find that offensive, taking the Lord's name in vain. Yeah. DBZ Naruto is saying the storm is bare crazy. Where are you, DBZ? Because it's outskirts of West London. I wonder where did the storm head. You get those storm chasers, don't you? People that chase the storm just to be part of it. And he's in Birmingham. How's my Birmingham accent, DBZ? If I talk like this, would you think that I'm from Birmingham, or is it just a terrible attempt? Birmingham's a hard accent to do. I rate any impersonator if they can do a Birmingham accent. I won't try it again because it's probably terrible. The Black Country. But yeah, the storm is making its way north. Alright people, we've hit the 45-minute mark almost. I think it's time for me to drive home. John McDermott is saying, I was only laughing at your remark that everyone thinks they're Israelite. I'm a Christian. Okay, thank you, John McDermott. Sorry, I wasn't having a go at you. Sorry about that. And thank you for laughing at my remark. It was sort of a throwaway comment. DBZ saying it was a good attempt at the accent. Thank you very much. Yeah, maybe we'll have a chat about that another time, John. Dance Over Everything is saying, greatest of all time UFC fighter. You know what? I'm not an expert enough on who has fought in the UFC and who hasn't and who's the greatest. I mean, sport evolves, doesn't it? So someone like John Jones, who's at the top of his game now, presumably is the best because the sport has advanced. Just like Usain Bolt, although recently retired, is this era's best sprinter and the world record holder. So yeah, it might technically be John Jones, but if you look at the history of the UFC and you go back to the first one, I think you can't beat the story of was it Hoist Gracie who won the first one? Correct me if I'm wrong. I know it was a Gracie. I think it was Hoist Gracie who won. He was wearing his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gi, and he was defeating wrestlers, kickboxers twice the size of him, and it showed that a certain technique could dominate other larger athletes. But we've moved on since then, and it's no longer about a grappler versus a striker or a wrestler versus a karate guy. The sport has evolved, and we've realised that you need to have a little bit of everything. And talking of John Jones and his recent title defence, that fight didn't even get to the ground. It was as if there was no jiu-jitsu involved whatsoever. But that's not because jiu-jitsu is obsolete. That's because fighters are now aware of jiu-jitsu, and they have honed their art to incorporate takedown defense to neutralize what goes on the ground in terms of jiu-jitsu. So yeah, we have gone back to a sort of a striking game, but things will come and go, and it always comes back round again. Tai is saying, dude, can you do an interview with Alumba Abu, please? Yes, I know I've been asked to do that before, Tai, and sorry I haven't got round to it yet. An interview with Alumba says love one another. I'm happy to do that. The only problem is I don't think it will be much of a conversation. I could be wrong. I'm ready to be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. But I think Alumba has already set in his ways, and if I ask him what he believes, he will just read a script that he already has, which is pretty much Alumba says love one another. Where will you be on that day? But yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll see if I can engage him with conversation. J77 says, instead of scoffing, do your research. Columbus sailed to Americas with a Hebrew interpreter. Columbus wrote in his journals they were Israelites. Also, Moctezuma. J77, just to address your point when you mentioned instead of scoffing, do your research. Sorry if I seem to be scoffing in a dismissive way. I think it stems from my begrudging the loyalists of describing themselves as the lost tribe of Israel. I think that's a long shot. As for your South American connection, I was actually fascinated to discover on my journey in South America the similarities between Quechua and Hebrew, and I have no doubt there could be a connection there with the South Americans. But to suddenly assert that your people are Israelites, as the Hebrew Israelites do, and dismiss anybody else's claim is nothing short of racism and ethnocentrism. And I've got a lot of time for those guys. In fact, the chap who spoke to me 2 weeks ago was very kind to me, but I think there is a strain within the Hebrew Israelites that is just filled with hatred, and it's there for a reason, but we'll talk about that another time. So no, I don't mean to dismiss all claims of being a Hebrew Israelite, and perhaps there are connections in South America that run deep. Yeah, again, I'll have to ask you to have a look at the playlist that says Peru, as I do address that point. DBZ is saying that Khabib Giza is alright. He certainly is. Diego Costa looks like he would be sick in the UFC. Opinions on Ryan Hall, I don't know enough about him. I'm going to have to do my homework. Alex FR is saying, hey, speak French? Oui. Bonjour, ça va? Sac le bleu, the blue bag. Bonjour tout le monde. Il fait pleu aujourd'hui. What can I say? Tai is saying you could perhaps ask Alumba questions about his background, his childhood, his experience, opinion with the other faiths, and what led him to Alumba. Yeah, that would be a good